Hi guys, I'm Wayne and welcome to Sppoky Spood. Today's tutorial is basically setting up an enclosure for a Fossorial Tarantula. The reason I'm doing this is I've got a male and female mega robustum, also known as the Colombian giant red leg. Basically they're on order and I should be receiving them around about Tuesday, so in the next couple of days. So I've got an idea of what size they are, so I'm going to set them both an enclosure up ready. I will be doing an unboxing video as soon as they come. I'm looking forward to that a lot. I mean, it's going to be a bit of time before I could possibly breed these because they're only, well, the female's about 7 centimetres, so she's got a bit of growing to do. I'm going to have to play God a little bit as well, try and slow them out, slow the male down, get the female into maturity before the male hooks out and I can breed them. These are just one of my future breeding projects that I'm looking into. I just thought I'd go through today basically how I go around setting up enclosures. Now, I'm not doing anything special for these because, like I say, I'm going to be using them to breed, so I'm not going in any glass tanks or anything like that. I'm just basically going to use some plastic containers. Work really well and will do the job. So the things you'll need are one plastic container, appropriate size. Now I think this is something like a 10 litre or something like that, maybe a bit bigger. What I've basically done is with a soldering iron is, as you can see, I've put lots of holes in the lid, not just the lid, I've also put ventilation in the sides all the way around, but bar the front. I don't put it in the front because that's the bit that's on display. So that's my tub, and I like these as well because I've got the little rocks on top. Keeps it firmly, so you know your tarantula's not going to escape basically. The other things you'll need are, or what I use, some cork bark. Now what I do is, this is a piece of cork bark I'm going to use as a starter burrow. Now I've hot glued some plants to it, and once that's in, it'll look pretty neat. My plants are all secure, they're not going to move around. I'll just find it a tidier way to do it. So usually if I'm using cork bark, I will just hot glue bits of plants. Instead of using a full plant that you get, like you buy a medium one or something like that, I cut them all down and I make little, different effects of it, and you get a lot more out of your plants doing it this way. They go a lot further, saves you money. Saves you a lot of money in that sense. I mean, this one plant I've probably cut into 5 or 6 different tanks, so I don't use a whole lot. I just need to use what I want. It's usually around the hide or something like that, just to give it a bit more somewhere for it to hide. The other thing you would need is a water bowl. I like these ones from the tarantula shops that you can get. These like fake cork bark things. I've got them in different various sizes. Now that to me looks appropriate size for the tea that I'm going to be putting in there. A little bit of spag moss, I don't use much of that, and of course your substrate. Now my substrate, I'm basically using a 50-50 mix of cocoa and spider life. I find it works perfect for me. The way I do this is I'll basically mix 5 litres of spider life to 2 650 gram cocoa blocks. It does a pretty good 50-50 mix, perfect. Anyway, let's get on with the tutorial. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my substrate in the tub. So, take the lid off. This might take a little bit of time, so I'll probably cut a lot of this out, but I'm just basically, this is a Fossorial, so I'm going to fill it up pretty much 2/3 of the way. That should be more than enough. I'll make a starter burrow, but anyway, I'm going to do that now. Now one thing I will say is I like to have my substrate ready made. I'll leave it to dry out as best as I can. So my sub's always dry, and then I'll add the water from the humidity afterwards. One reason is if there's any mold spores and all that, letting it dry out is going to let them die off you know, less chance of contaminated, you know, substrate when you come to use it. So just let it dry, leave it, use it as I need to, add the water once I make enclosures for humidity depending on the species. That's how I go about doing things anyway, and I find it's pretty effective. And I've always got substrate to hand if I need to do a rehouse or anything like that. So basically I'll press all the substrate down as I'm putting it in, make it all nice and firm. Once I've got to about this stage where it's 2/3 of the way up, then I'm going to look at now adding my cork bark. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in one corner, like so. You can see this. Use the back corner like that. I'm going to dig it in a bit. Right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start digging down into it with my fingers, like so. So basically I've added the cork bark, I've put my fingers in there, dug a little starter burrow. Now I'm just going to add some more substrate, but what I want to do is I want to add it around the back here, just to hold the cork bark down and to hide some of the cork bark in those plants and just make it look a bit more. So, get these plants out here a little bit. Put that down there. And took all that into there. Now, like I say, I can't guarantee this is right. This is just how I like to do things, and I find it's pretty effective. I'll show you this now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to dig there. But what I want to do is I want to try and close this up a little bit. I'm going to add some more substrate over by the bullet. Like so. And try and build up that area for oh yes, this is for my female. The male's probably going to be nowhere near as big. Let's build this side of it there. One thing I will say is I don't scrimp on my substrate. I like to use a lot of it. My personal opinion: one, I don't like height. I don't want my tarantula to fall and hurt itself. Two, I want to give it as much space as I can to go and make some fantastic burrows. And three, it's easier for humidity the more you have in there. If it's a high humidity like these, well, these ain't high though in the mid-range humidity, but it's just easier to keep a bit of humidity in if you've got more substrate. And of course the last thing you need is a nice water bowl. Now I'm going to put mine in the far corner to the burrow. I find to keep it away from the home is the best option if you don't want them filling in water bowls, and because the way they see it is predators are going to hang around by water, so they fill it in. I believe this is what I've read, they fill it in to stop predators from coming near their homes. This is why I always like to put it in the furthest corner away, because at the end of the day the tarantula, if it wants water, will go and find it, but you'll probably find it's not going to bury that bowl. I mean, the most it'll probably do is it'll put some, if it's a webbing one, it'll web up that bowl and run the web right back to its burrow, and then it'll feel anything that's moving around by the water through the web. Yeah, so this is my plan. But anyway, this is my enclosure. As you can see, my substrate's 2/3 of the way up. I've got a water bowl in the far corner to my burrow, nice pretty burrow with plants and that, bit of spag moss spread round. Hey presto. So there you go. Thank you for watching my tutorial on how to set up enclosures for fossorial / terrestrial, I'm going to say. As far as the enclosure, you can use glass, whatever you use, same principle. Just make sure it's got good ventilation. if it's fossorial or terrestrial, give it plenty of substrate. You know, the rule of thumb basically is you don't want the bottom of your substrate and the height of your enclosure to be more than 2 of the spider's length stretched out, so diagonal thingy stretched out, no more. But me personally, I'll go for about 1. I like my spiders to be able to touch the ceiling and touch the floor at the same time. Arboreal, different, completely different setup, but as far as terrestrial and fossorial, perfect. My new one's going to have a field day, Matt, because I don't know what size I mean, I know it's roughly about 7 centimetres now, so that container's probably a little bit big for it, but I don't want to mess with it too much when she comes. I want to get her in there, I just want to leave her to grow. My male's going to be the same. They're not really here for display purposes, although they are going to be beautiful. They're more for my projects later on down the line of breeding. Now if it was a display, I'd have it in a glass Exoterra modified lid, as I do. If they're not big enough to be going in Exoterras, I do use these tubs, but a small version of them. You know, I've got lots of options for enclosures. I've got lots of enclosures, empty enclosures lying around. I can always take a spider. I've got something to put it in. It works for me. Those plastic tubs are the cheapest chips. I mean, I think I paid like £6 for that one tub there that I just used. It's pennies. I mean, for the same in an Exoterra, I'd be paying like £50. So, well, there you go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching my tutorial today. This is Wayne from Sppoky Spood. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe. Go to my Facebook page, www.facebook.com/SppokySpood, like that. Put any comments in the comments box, send me messages or whatever you want to talk, or if there's any information you need and I might be able to help you out. And I'll see you soon with my next video of the unboxing of my mega robustums, which I'm looking forward to in a couple of days. And there you go. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye now.